These two sisters were so close, but since one stole the other's boyfriend, everything in them changed because of hatred. The beginning of a rift. In the quiet town of Rosewood, two sisters, Emily and Olivia, lived with their mother, Margaret. Emily, the younger of the two at 22, was known for her kindness and academic achievements. Olivia, 24, was a vibrant and ambitious woman who worked as a marketing manager in the city. Their father had passed away when they were very young, leaving Margaret to raise them alone. Despite their close bond, life was not always easy for the small family, but they managed to find happiness in their simple lives. One spring evening, Olivia came home from work with a significant announcement. She had recently started dating a charming young man named Jacob. Excitedly, she introduced him to her family. Margaret and Emily welcomed Jacob warmly, thrilled to see Olivia so happy. Jacob quickly became a frequent visitor to their home, and over time, Emily began to admire him. Unbeknownst to Olivia, Emily's admiration for Jacob grew into something more profound. While Olivia was head over heels in love, Emily found herself grappling with her feelings for Jacob. Despite her initial attempts to suppress her emotions, it became increasingly challenging for her to hide her affection. The tension between the sisters started to rise, though neither spoke of it openly. Emily's internal struggle was compounded by her guilt over her growing feelings for someone who was already her sister's partner. Meanwhile, Olivia was blissfully unaware of the turmoil brewing beneath the surface. One day, after a particularly emotional conversation with Jacob, Emily decided to confront her sister. In a tearful exchange, she confessed her feelings and the betrayal she felt for harboring them. Olivia was devastated. The trust and bond between the two sisters were shattered, and their relationship deteriorated rapidly. The once warm and close-knit family now faced a profound rift. The pain of betrayal and the subsequent arguments drove a wedge between Emily and Olivia. The sisters stopped speaking and withdrew from each other's lives. Olivia and Jacob's relationship, which had started with so much promise, was tainted by the conflict with Emily, and eventually, they began drifting apart. Emily moved to a small apartment in the city to escape the turmoil, while Olivia and Jacob continued their life together, albeit strained by the unresolved issues. The sisters' once cherished memories of family dinners and shared laughter now seemed like distant echoes, overshadowed by the betrayal and heartache that had come between them. The growing distance. The aftermath of the confrontation between Emily and Olivia left an indelible mark on the family. Margaret, caught between her two daughters, struggled to mediate the escalating tension. The house that once resonated with laughter and love was now filled with an uncomfortable silence. Each room seemed to echo the unresolved conflict and the emotional distance that had grown between Emily and Olivia. Emily's departure to her small apartment in the city was meant to provide her with space to process her feelings and attempt to rebuild her life. The new environment, however, only deepened her sense of isolation. Despite her efforts to distract herself with work and new friendships, Emily was plagued by guilt and sorrow. The weight of having caused such a rift with her sister was a constant burden. Olivia, on the other hand, tried to move forward with her life, but the absence of her sister and the strain on her relationship with Jacob were palpable. Her once happy relationship with Jacob had become strained as their discussions frequently veered toward the unresolved issues with Emily. Jacob, who had initially been a supportive partner, found himself caught in the crossfire of the sibling feud. His attempts to mediate or offer comfort to Olivia often led to frustration, as the underlying issue remained unaddressed. As months passed, the family gatherings that used to be a source of joy became rare. Margaret tried to maintain a semblance of normalcy by organizing occasional dinners, hoping that a shared meal might bridge the gap between her daughters. Unfortunately, these attempts often ended in awkward silences or tense exchanges. The presence of an empty chair at the table, a reminder of Emily's absence, was a constant, painful reminder of the family's fractured state. Emily's new life in the city, while providing her with a degree of independence, was marked by a deep sense of loss. Her apartment, though cozy, felt more like a refuge from the pain rather than a place of happiness. The city, with its bustling streets and unfamiliar faces, could not fill the void left by her estrangement from her sister and mother. During this period, Olivia and Jacob's relationship began to falter. The strain of the unresolved family issues started to erode the foundation of their romance. What had once been a promising partnership now faced numerous challenges. Olivia's resentment and sadness about her sister's actions, combined with Jacob's frustration at being a mediator, created a chasm between them. Their relationship, which had seemed so vibrant and hopeful, was overshadowed by the lingering impact of the family feud. As time went on, the communication between the sisters dwindled to occasional, terse exchanges through text messages or social media. Margaret, deeply distressed by the rift, attempted to reach out to Emily and Olivia, but her efforts often met with resistance or indifference. Her heart ached for a resolution, but the complexity of the emotions involved made it difficult to find a path forward. Emily and Olivia's relationship, once a source of strength and support, had become a painful reminder of their unresolved issues. Both sisters grappled with feelings of betrayal, anger, and sadness. The once strong bond they shared was now a fragile thread, stretched thin by years of unresolved conflict and emotional hurt. As the seasons changed and the years passed, the reality of their situation settled in. Emily and Olivia were living separate lives, each struggling to find a way to heal and move on. The distance between them had become more than just physical. It was emotional and psychological, deeply ingrained in their daily lives. The rift deepens. As the months turned into years, the rift between Emily and Olivia only seemed to widen. Both sisters were caught in a cycle of unresolved feelings and unspoken grievances, with neither willing to take the first step towards reconciliation. Margaret's efforts to mend the broken relationships were in vain, as her daughters remained entrenched in their own worlds, unwilling to bridge the chasm that had formed between them. Emily's new life in the city offered her a certain degree of anonymity and distraction. She threw herself into her career, finding solace in the hustle and bustle of her professional environment. However, the success she experienced at work was overshadowed by the persistent ache of her broken familial bonds. Her apartment, though well-decorated and comfortable, often felt like a solitary confinement, with the memories of her past life haunting her. Each day was a struggle to maintain a semblance of normalcy while grappling with the emotional weight of her estrangement from her family. Her social circle, which initially provided a welcome distraction, became a double-edged sword. While her friends offered support and companionship, they were unable to fully understand the depth of her pain. The occasional inquiries about her family only served as painful reminders of the unresolved issues and the emotional scars she carried. Emily found herself isolating from her friends, withdrawing further into her own shell as the months went by. In contrast, Olivia's life in the small town seemed to be moving in a different direction. She and Jacob had made a concerted effort to salvage their relationship, but the lingering impact of the family feud was a constant strain. Their interactions, once filled with affection and understanding, were now tinged with frustration and regret. Olivia's feelings of betrayal and anger towards Emily were often projected onto Jacob, creating a cycle of discord in their relationship. Jacob, for his part, struggled to find a way to support Olivia without being dragged into the emotional turmoil of the situation. His own feelings of helplessness and frustration were compounded by the constant reminders of the unresolved family issues. The relationship that had once seemed so promising now faced numerous obstacles, with the weight of the past threatening to overshadow any chance of a future together. Margaret's attempts to bring her family together were increasingly met with resistance. Her phone calls and letters to Emily often went unanswered, and her efforts to arrange family gatherings were either ignored or met with hostility. The once warm and loving home had become a place of coldness and distance, with Margaret bearing the brunt of the emotional strain. In the rare instances when Emily and Olivia did communicate, their conversations were fraught with tension and unspoken bitterness. The memories of their shared past were marred by the painful events that had driven them apart. Both sisters were haunted by the unresolved issues, and their interactions were often characterized by a defensive attitude and a reluctance to confront the underlying problems. As the years went by, the emotional distance between Emily and Olivia became more pronounced. The memories of their shared childhood and the bond they once had seemed like distant echoes, overshadowed by the pain of their past conflicts. Both sisters were left grappling with their own sense of loss and regret, struggling to come to terms with the fractured relationship that had become a defining aspect of their lives. Margaret's health began to deteriorate, and the once vibrant woman was now a shadow of her former self. The stress of dealing with her estranged daughters and the weight of the unresolved family issues took a toll on her well-being. Her attempts to reach out and heal the rift between her daughters were becoming increasingly desperate, as her own health issues made it clear that time was running out. Emily and Olivia, despite their ongoing estrangement, were both deeply affected by their mother's declining health. The realization that Margaret's time was limited brought a new level of urgency to their situation. The unresolved conflicts and the emotional distance that had once seemed insurmountable now faced the added pressure of their mother's deteriorating condition. The shattered illusions. As Margaret's health continued to decline, the once distant and fragmented family was faced with a new urgency. The realization that time was slipping away drove a deep sense of urgency in Emily and Olivia. Despite their strained relationship, both sisters found themselves compelled to reassess their priorities and consider the possibility of reconciliation before it was too late. Margaret's deteriorating condition led to frequent hospital visits and an ever-increasing need for care. The once proud and vibrant woman who had been the cornerstone of their family was now frail and vulnerable. The stark contrast between her past vitality and her present state served as a painful reminder of the unresolved issues that had torn her family apart. Emily and Olivia, despite their differences, found themselves haunted by the knowledge that their mother's suffering was partly a result of their own estrangement. The visits to the hospital were an emotionally charged experience. Emily, driven by a mixture of guilt and concern, made the effort to visit Margaret regularly. Each visit was marked by a heavy silence, as she grappled with the complex emotions that had built up over the years. The sight of her mother lying in a hospital bed, weak and frail, was a stark reminder of the familial bonds she had once shared with her sister. Olivia, too, was drawn back to the hospital, although her visits were fraught with tension. The wounds from the past were not easily forgotten, and the interactions between her and Emily were often marked by an undercurrent of resentment. The emotional weight of the situation was palpable, as both sisters struggled to reconcile their personal grievances with the need to be present for their ailing mother. Margaret's hospital room became a battleground of sorts, where the unresolved conflicts between Emily and Olivia played out against the backdrop of their mother's suffering. The emotional strain of the situation often led to heated arguments and confrontations, with both sisters struggling to find common ground amidst the chaos of their personal feelings. During one particularly tense visit, an argument erupted between Emily and Olivia. The discussion, initially centered around their mother's care, quickly devolved into a bitter exchange of grievances. Emily accused Olivia of being selfish and unfeeling, while Olivia retorted with accusations of betrayal and insensitivity. The argument reached a boiling point, with both sisters shouting over each other and bringing up past hurts that had long been buried. Margaret, despite her weakened state, was visibly distressed by the argument. The sight of her daughters fighting over her care was a painful reminder of the familial rift that had plagued their lives. Her attempts to intervene and mediate only seemed to escalate the situation, highlighting the depth of the emotional wounds that had been left untreated. In the midst of this turmoil, Margaret's health took a turn for the worse. The hospital staff struggled to manage her condition, and the once hopeful prognosis now seemed increasingly bleak. The weight of the situation began to take its toll on Emily and Olivia, who were forced to confront the possibility that their mother might not recover. As Margaret's condition continued to deteriorate, the atmosphere in the hospital grew increasingly somber. The once bustling room, filled with the sounds of medical equipment and hushed conversations, became a place of quiet reflection and despair. Emily and Olivia, despite their ongoing conflicts, found themselves united in their shared concern for their mother's well-being. The tension between the sisters began to shift as they grappled with the reality of their mother's condition. The arguments and accusations that had once dominated their interactions now seemed insignificant in the face of the imminent loss they were facing. Both Emily and Olivia were forced to confront their own feelings of regret and guilt, realizing that the time for reconciliation was rapidly running out. Margaret's final days were marked by a profound sense of introspection and reflection. The emotional weight of her deteriorating health served as a catalyst for change, prompting both daughters to reconsider their past actions and the impact they had on their family. The realization that their mother's suffering was partly a result of their unresolved issues drove Emily and Olivia to seek a resolution, however difficult it might be. In the midst of this emotional upheaval, Margaret's passing became an inevitable reality. The once vibrant matriarch of the family was now reduced to a fragile memory, leaving behind a legacy of unresolved conflicts and strained relationships. The final moments of her life were characterized by a deep sense of loss and reflection, as her daughters faced the painful reality of her impending death. 5. The weight of the past. As Margaret's health continued to decline, the strain of the situation began to weigh heavily on both Emily and Olivia. Their interactions, once fraught with animosity, now took on a different tone as they struggled to come to terms with their mother's impending death. The hospital room, once a battleground of unresolved grievances, became a place of introspection and emotional reckoning. Emily, grappling with feelings of guilt and regret, found herself revisiting the choices she had made over the years. The weight of her estrangement from Olivia and the painful memories of their fractured relationship became more pronounced as she faced the reality of their mother's decline. Each visit to the hospital served as a stark reminder of the family dynamics that had led to this point, prompting Emily to question her role in the discord that had plagued their lives. Olivia, on the other hand, was forced to confront her own emotions and the impact of her actions on her family. The anger and resentment she had harbored towards Emily began to dissolve in the face of their mother's suffering. The realization that their mother's illness was a catalyst for their reunion forced Olivia to reconsider her own role in their familial strife. The bitterness that had once defined her relationship with Emily now seemed overshadowed by the gravity of the situation. The hospital staff, aware of the emotional turmoil affecting the family, made efforts to provide comfort and support. However, the emotional weight of Margaret's condition proved to be a formidable challenge, and the interactions between Emily and Olivia remained fraught with tension. Despite their attempts at reconciliation, the ghosts of their past continued to cast a long shadow over their interactions. One evening, as the sun set and the hospital room was bathed in a soft, orange glow, Emily and Olivia found themselves sitting quietly beside Margaret's bed. The silence between them was punctuated only by the rhythmic beeping of the heart monitor and the occasional murmur of the hospital staff passing by. The stark reality of their mother's condition hung heavy in the air, creating a sense of solemn reflection. In a moment of vulnerability, Emily broke the silence. Her voice, tinged with emotion, was barely more than a whisper. "I'm sorry, Olivia. I wish things had been different. I wish we hadn't let our issues come between us like this." The words, though simple, carried the weight of years of unresolved conflict and unspoken regrets. Olivia, taken aback by Emily's sudden candor, responded with a nod. Her own voice trembled as she spoke. "I'm sorry too, Emily. I've held on to so much anger, but I realize now that it's not worth it. We've lost so much time, and I regret that." The sincerity in her voice was a stark contrast to the bitterness that had once characterized their relationship. The exchange marked a turning point in their relationship. The barriers that had once separated them began to crumble, replaced by a shared sense of grief and regret. The realization that their mother's illness was a catalyst for change brought a new perspective to their strained relationship. For the first time in years, Emily and Olivia found themselves united in their shared sorrow and the desire to make amends. As the days passed, the sisters continued to navigate the emotional landscape of their mother's illness. The once familiar arguments and accusations were replaced by quieter, more introspective conversations. The focus shifted from their personal grievances to the shared responsibility of caring for their mother and supporting each other through the difficult times. Margaret's condition remained precarious, with her health fluctuating between moments of stability and decline. The family, despite their strained relationships, came together in their efforts to provide comfort and care. The hospital room, once a place of conflict, became a space of collective hope and support. The reality of Margaret's impending death continued to loom over the family, creating a sense of urgency to resolve their differences. The emotional weight of the situation drove Emily and Olivia to confront their past and work towards a resolution. The process was neither quick nor easy, but the shared experience of their mother's illness became a catalyst for healing and reconciliation. The final days of Margaret's life were marked by a profound sense of reflection and introspection. The emotional strain of the situation, coupled with the realization of the limited time remaining, prompted both sisters to re-evaluate their priorities and their relationship. The once familiar bitterness was replaced by a deeper understanding of the importance of family and the need for reconciliation. As Margaret's condition continued to deteriorate, the sisters found themselves facing the inevitability of her passing. The emotional intensity of the situation created a sense of urgency, pushing Emily and Olivia to confront their past and make amends before it was too late. The hospital room, once a place of conflict and sorrow, became a space of shared grief and hope for healing. Reflections in the dark. As the days of Margaret's life dwindled, the emotional burden on Emily and Olivia became increasingly pronounced. The hospital room, where their mother lay frail and weak, had transformed from a battleground of old grievances into a space of somber reflection and, slowly, tentative reconciliation. The sisters' interactions, though still strained, began to take on a different tone as they confronted the gravity of their situation. Emily found herself grappling with an overwhelming sense of regret. The years of estrangement from Olivia, born from the painful episode of betrayal involving a past relationship, now seemed like a distant memory compared to the immediate urgency of their mother's deteriorating health. Every visit to the hospital served as a stark reminder of the time lost, and Emily's heart ached for the years that had slipped away, years that could have been spent mending the rift with her sister. Olivia, on the other hand, faced the emotional aftermath of her past decisions with equal intensity. The guilt she carried for her role in the rift with Emily was compounded by the pain of seeing her mother in such a fragile state. The anger and resentment she had harbored towards her sister began to give way to a profound sadness and a deep sense of longing for the family connections that had once been so strong. One evening, after another grueling day at the hospital, Emily and Olivia sat in the dimly lit waiting room, a place that had become their sanctuary of sorts during the darkest hours. The room was quiet, save for the occasional murmur of hospital staff passing by and the soft hum of the fluorescent lights overhead. The sisters, exhausted from the emotional and physical toll of their mother's illness, sat in silence, the weight of their shared grief heavy in the air. Emily broke the silence, her voice soft but laden with emotion. "I've been thinking a lot about how we ended up here, Olivia. I realize now how much I've missed out on because of our fight. It's been so long, and I can't help but wish things had been different." Olivia turned to her sister, her eyes reflecting a mixture of sadness and understanding. "I know, Emily. I've been thinking the same thing. It's hard to believe how we let a single mistake tear us apart for so long. We let our anger and pride get in the way of what really mattered." The conversation marked a significant shift in their relationship. For the first time in years, the sisters began to openly acknowledge the depth of their pain and the role their past grievances had played in their current predicament. The honesty in their exchange created a fragile bridge between them, one built on shared regret and the desire to make amends before it was too late. Margaret's condition continued to fluctuate, with her health becoming increasingly unstable. The family's focus shifted from their personal conflicts to the immediate concern of providing the best possible care for their mother. The once familiar arguments and tensions gave way to a collective effort to support Margaret through her final days. The hospital staff, aware of the emotional turmoil affecting the family, offered support and guidance. They encouraged Emily and Olivia to cherish the time they had left with their mother and to work towards healing their fractured relationship. Despite the well-meaning advice, the process of reconciliation was slow and fraught with emotional complexity. Emily and Olivia found themselves spending more time together, their interactions marked by a growing sense of understanding and empathy. The conversations that once revolved around their grievances now focused on their memories of their mother and the shared experiences of their childhood. The sisters began to rediscover the bond that had once connected them, even as they grappled with the pain of their past. One evening, As the sun set and the sky outside the hospital window was painted in shades of orange and pink, Emily and Olivia found themselves reflecting on their mother's life and the impact of her illness on their family. The quiet moment of introspection provided an opportunity for the sisters to share their thoughts and feelings more openly. "I remember when we were kids," Emily said, her voice tinged with nostalgia, "how Mom used to tell us stories before bed. Those were some of the happiest times of my life. I wish we could go back to that innocence, that simplicity." Olivia nodded, her eyes misty with emotion. "I remember those nights too. Mom always had a way of making everything seem better, even when things were tough. I wish I had appreciated those moments more." The conversation, while tinged with sadness, marked a turning point in their relationship. The shared memories of their mother's love and care provided a foundation for healing and understanding. The sisters began to realize that, despite their past conflicts, their bond was still strong and worth fighting for. As the days continued to pass, Emily and Olivia worked to rebuild their relationship, even as they faced the inevitable reality of their mother's declining health. The hospital room, once a place of conflict, became a space of shared grief and reconciliation. The process of healing was neither quick nor easy, but the time spent together in the face of their mother's illness provided an opportunity for the sisters to mend their relationship and find solace in their shared experiences. The emotional intensity of the situation drove Emily and Olivia to confront their past and work towards a resolution. The realization that their mother's illness was a catalyst for change brought a new perspective to their strained relationship. For the first time in years, Emily and Olivia found themselves united in their shared sorrow and the desire to make amends. The final days of Margaret's life were marked by a profound sense of reflection and introspection. The emotional strain of the situation, coupled with the realization of the limited time remaining, prompted both sisters to re-evaluate their priorities and their relationship. The once familiar bitterness was replaced by a deeper understanding of the importance of family and the need for reconciliation. The road to forgiveness. The atmosphere in the hospital had shifted dramatically as Margaret's condition continued to deteriorate. The once sterile and impersonal environment now felt deeply personal to Emily and Olivia, laden with the weight of unresolved emotions and the urgency of their mother's final days. The sisters, having come to terms with their past and the rift that had divided them for so long, were now united in their determination to support their mother and to mend their fractured relationship. Every day was a complex mixture of hope and despair. Emily and Olivia found themselves spending more time together, both in the hospital and outside it. Their interactions were increasingly marked by genuine warmth and understanding. They began to share more about their lives, their regrets, and their hopes for the future. These conversations, though tinged with sadness, were a crucial part of their healing process. Margaret's room became a place of quiet reflection. The sisters would often sit by her bedside, holding her hand and talking softly. They reminisced about their childhood, shared stories of their mother's strength and kindness, and expressed their gratitude for the time they had with her. The emotional intimacy of these moments was a stark contrast to the years of distance that had characterized their relationship. One particularly poignant evening, as the sun set and the room was bathed in a soft, golden light, Emily and Olivia found themselves reflecting on their mother's influence on their lives. The hospital's quiet hum seemed to provide a backdrop for their heartfelt conversation. "Do you remember when Mom used to make us those special dinners on our birthdays?" Emily asked, her voice soft with nostalgia. Olivia nodded, a wistful smile on her lips. "Yes, and how she would stay up late to bake our favorite cakes. Those were such happy times." The shared memories brought both comfort and sorrow. It was a reminder of the warmth and love that had once been a constant in their lives, and a contrast to the pain and separation that had followed. These moments of reflection were crucial in helping the sisters reconnect with the love and bond that had once been so strong. The days continued to pass with an intensity that left both sisters emotionally and physically exhausted. They faced the harsh reality of their mother's declining health with a mix of resignation and determination. The prospect of losing Margaret was a difficult one, but the process of coming to terms with their past had provided them with a sense of closure and the opportunity to move forward. As Margaret's condition worsened, Emily and Olivia took turns keeping vigil by her bedside. The nights were long and filled with quiet conversations, interrupted only by the soft beeping of medical equipment and the occasional murmur of hospital staff. The sisters found solace in their shared presence, and the act of simply being there for their mother became a source of comfort. During these long nights, Emily and Olivia often found themselves discussing their future and the changes they hoped to make in their lives. The process of reconciling with their past had given them a new perspective on what truly mattered. They began to talk about the possibility of rebuilding their lives and their relationship after their mother's passing, with a renewed focus on family and forgiveness. One night, as they sat together in the dimly lit room, Olivia spoke with a sense of quiet resolve. "Emily, I've been thinking a lot about what comes next. I want us to find a way to make up for the lost time, to build something positive out of all this pain." Emily looked at her sister, her eyes reflecting both hope and sorrow. "I feel the same way. We've been through so much, and it's time for us to move forward, to honor Mom's memory by healing and growing together." Their conversation marked a turning point in their journey towards reconciliation. The commitment to making positive changes in their lives provided a sense of purpose and direction amidst the emotional turmoil. The sisters began to explore ways in which they could support each other and build a future that honored their mother's legacy. As Margaret's final days approached, Emily and Olivia found themselves navigating a complex emotional landscape. The sadness of impending loss was tempered by the comfort of knowing that they had made progress in healing their relationship. The process of coming to terms with their past and working towards forgiveness had been a transformative experience, one that had brought them closer together and provided a sense of closure. Margaret's passing, when it came, was a moment of profound grief for both sisters. The finality of the loss was overwhelming, but it was accompanied by a sense of peace that came from knowing they had reconciled and worked towards healing. The funeral, while a solemn occasion, was also a testament to the strength of the bond that had been rekindled between Emily and Olivia. In the days that followed, as they navigated the practicalities of their mother's passing and the process of grieving, Emily and Olivia found themselves leaning on each other for support. The emotional journey they had undertaken together had created a foundation of understanding and empathy that would guide them as they moved forward in their lives. The process of healing was ongoing, but the sisters were determined to honor their mother's memory by embracing the lessons learned from their shared experiences. The road ahead would undoubtedly be challenging, but the strength of their renewed bond provided a sense of hope and resilience as they faced the future together. The path to reconciliation. In the wake of Margaret's passing, Emily and Olivia faced the daunting task of not only dealing with their grief but also navigating the complexities of their renewed relationship. The funeral had been a somber yet cathartic experience. It had allowed them to reflect on their mother's life, honor her memory, and most importantly, solidify their commitment to healing their fractured bond. The days immediately following the funeral were a whirlwind of activity. The sisters were inundated with the practicalities of settling their mother's affairs, which included sorting through her belongings, addressing financial matters, and managing the house that had been their family home for so many years. Despite the heaviness of the task, the shared responsibility brought them closer together and provided a framework for their interactions. One afternoon, as they sifted through Margaret's personal effects, Emily and Olivia found themselves reminiscing about their childhood. Among the items they discovered were old photo albums, letters, and mementos from happier times. Each item was a poignant reminder of their mother's love and the life they had once shared. "This album," Emily said, holding up a worn, leather-bound book. "I remember Mom used to show us these pictures. It's like she wanted to keep a piece of our childhood alive." Olivia nodded, tears glistening in her eyes. "I'd forgotten about these. It's strange how something so small can bring back so many memories." As they flipped through the pages, they found themselves laughing and crying together, the emotional weight of the past gradually giving way to a sense of shared understanding. The process of rediscovering these memories was both healing and heart-wrenching, but it also served to strengthen the bond they were working to rebuild. In the weeks that followed, Emily and Olivia began to establish new routines. They decided to keep the family home, transforming it into a space that reflected both their shared past and their hopes for the future. They undertook renovations that honored their mother's memory while also making the house a place where they could forge new memories together. The decision to renovate the home was symbolic of their desire to create a fresh start. As they worked on the house, they also worked on their relationship, engaging in open and honest conversations about their past, their feelings, and their aspirations. The process was not always easy, but it was a crucial part of their journey towards reconciliation. Emily and Olivia also began to explore new ways of honoring their mother's legacy. They decided to start a scholarship fund in Margaret's name, aimed at supporting young women who aspired to achieve their dreams despite financial obstacles. The scholarship was a testament to their mother's belief in the power of education and her dedication to helping others. As they worked on the scholarship fund, Emily and Olivia found themselves reflecting on their own dreams and aspirations. They realized that their mother's passing had provided them with an opportunity to reevaluate their lives and make meaningful changes. They began to set personal goals and explore new career paths, motivated by the desire to create positive change in their own lives and in the lives of others. The process of healing and moving forward was gradual, but it was marked by moments of profound growth and transformation. Emily and Olivia discovered that their shared experiences had given them a unique perspective on life and a deeper appreciation for their relationship. They learned to support each other in new ways, finding strength in their unity and resilience. Their journey towards reconciliation was also marked by a renewed focus on family and community. They began to reconnect with extended family members and friends, reaching out to those they had lost touch with over the years. The process of rebuilding these connections provided them with additional support and a sense of belonging. One particularly significant moment came when Emily and Olivia hosted a gathering in their mother's honor. It was an opportunity to celebrate Margaret's life and to share their journey of healing with those who had supported them along the way. The gathering was filled with heartfelt speeches, shared memories, and a sense of collective gratitude for the positive impact Margaret had had on their lives. As the years went by, Emily and Olivia continued to build on the foundation they had created. They remained committed to honoring their mother's legacy through their scholarship fund and their personal growth. The process of reconciliation had not only brought them closer together, but had also given them a renewed sense of purpose and direction. The story of Emily and Olivia's journey was a testament to the power of forgiveness, the strength of family bonds, and the importance of moving forward with hope and determination. Their experiences had taught them valuable lessons about love, resilience, and the importance of cherishing the moments they had with the people they cared about. In the end, Emily and Olivia found peace in knowing that they had worked through their differences and created a positive legacy in honor of their mother. Their journey was a reminder that even in the face of adversity, it is possible to find healing and reconciliation, and to build a future that reflects the values and love of those who have come before us. The final chapter of healing. The journey of reconciliation for Emily and Olivia had reached a pivotal moment. As they continued to navigate their new reality, they found themselves reflecting on how far they had come since their mother's passing and the tumultuous years that followed. Their bond, once strained and fractured, had transformed into something resilient and profound. The siblings had committed to a routine that balanced their professional responsibilities with their personal healing. Emily had pursued a career in social work, driven by her desire to support and uplift others in her community. Olivia, on the other hand, had taken a path in creative writing, using her talent to share her experiences and inspire others through her words. Both careers not only fulfilled them personally but also aligned with their shared commitment to making a difference in the world. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Emily and Olivia sat together in the living room of their family home, which had become a symbol of their renewed relationship and shared aspirations. The room, now a blend of old family mementos and new, comforting touches, served as a daily reminder of their journey. "Remember when we first started working on the house?" Emily said, gazing around at the transformed space. "It feels like such a long time ago." Olivia smiled, her eyes reflecting the warmth of the room. "It does. And look at what we've built together. Not just the house, but our lives too." Their conversation shifted to the scholarship fund they had established in their mother's name. The fund had grown over the years, and they had begun to see the positive impact it was making on the lives of young women. They frequently received letters from scholarship recipients, sharing their stories of triumph and progress. "We've helped so many young women achieve their dreams," Emily remarked, her voice tinged with pride. "It's a legacy Mom would have been proud of." Olivia nodded in agreement. "It feels like we're keeping her spirit alive. Every time I read a letter from a recipient, I'm reminded of how much good can come from our struggles." As they prepared for the annual scholarship gala, an event that had become a cherished tradition, Emily and Olivia felt a sense of fulfillment and anticipation. The gala was not only a celebration of the scholarship fund's achievements, but also an opportunity to bring together the community that had supported their journey. The night of the gala arrived, and the venue was filled with a sense of excitement and purpose. Emily and Olivia, dressed in elegant attire, welcomed guests with smiles and gratitude. The evening was marked by heartfelt speeches, stories of resilience from scholarship recipients, and a powerful sense of community. During the event, Emily and Olivia took a moment to reflect on their journey. Standing together in the center of the room, surrounded by friends, family, and supporters, they marveled at how much their lives had changed. "It's amazing to think about how far we've come," Olivia said, her voice filled with emotion. Emily squeezed her sister's hand. "Yes, it is. And it's a reminder that no matter how difficult things get, there's always hope and the possibility for healing." As the gala continued, Emily and Olivia took the stage to address the attendees. Their speech was a testament to their journey, their mother's legacy, and the power of forgiveness and reconciliation. "We've learned that the bonds of family are incredibly strong," Emily began. "Even when we face the toughest challenges, it's possible to find a path to healing and renewal." Olivia continued, "Our mother taught us the importance of love and perseverance. Through our struggles, we've discovered that true strength comes from embracing those values and supporting each other through life's trials." The crowd responded with applause, and the energy in the room was one of unity and inspiration. The gala was a celebration of not just the scholarship fund, but also the journey that Emily and Olivia had undertaken to rebuild their relationship and make a positive impact on the world. As the evening drew to a close, Emily and Olivia took a moment to reflect on their achievements and the future that lay ahead. They knew that their journey was not over, but they felt confident in their ability to face whatever challenges came their way. The story of Emily and Olivia was a powerful reminder that even in the face of adversity, it is possible to find healing, reconciliation, and purpose. Their experiences had shaped them into individuals who were committed to making a difference and honoring the legacy of their mother. With a sense of hope and determination, Emily and Olivia looked forward to the future, knowing that their journey had not only transformed their lives but had also created a lasting impact on the lives of others. They were ready to continue their path of growth and fulfillment, united by the strength of their bond and the lessons they had learned along the way. A legacy of love. Years had passed since the pivotal night of the scholarship gala that marked a new chapter in the lives of Emily and Olivia. The bond between the two sisters had only grown stronger, and their lives had taken on new dimensions of purpose and fulfillment. Their journey was a testament to the power of reconciliation, personal growth, and the enduring influence of family ties. Emily had become a prominent advocate for social change, using her position to champion causes related to women's rights and social justice. Her work had brought her into contact with influential figures and had earned her a reputation as a dedicated and compassionate leader. She often spoke at conferences and events, sharing her story and inspiring others to pursue their own paths of transformation. Olivia, meanwhile, had flourished as a writer, her books resonating with readers who found solace and inspiration in her words. Her latest novel, a poignant reflection on her journey and the lessons learned from her strained relationship with Emily, had been met with critical acclaim. Olivia's writing not only provided a creative outlet for her emotions but also served as a platform for advocating personal healing and reconciliation. One bright spring morning, Emily and Olivia found themselves reflecting on their journey as they prepared for the dedication of a new community center. The center, funded by the proceeds from their scholarship gala and supported by donations from friends and supporters, was to be named in honor of their mother. It was a symbol of their commitment to carrying forward their mother's legacy of kindness and compassion. As they arrived at the center, they were greeted by a crowd of community members, many of whom had been touched by the scholarship fund and the work of Emily and Olivia. The event was a celebration of the new facility, which would provide resources, support, and opportunities to individuals in need. The center was designed to be a welcoming space where people could access educational programs, counseling services, and community events. It featured a library, classrooms, and a cozy lounge area where individuals could gather and connect. The walls were adorned with photographs and stories from scholarship recipients, highlighting the impact that the fund had made in their lives. Emily and Olivia took the stage to address the attendees, their hearts full of gratitude and pride. The ceremony began with a moment of reflection, as they shared their thoughts on the significance of the community center and its connection to their mother's memory. "Our mother always believed in the power of community and the importance of giving back," Emily said, her voice steady but emotional. "This center is a tribute to her legacy and a testament to the strength of our family's journey." Olivia continued, "It's a place where dreams can take root and where people can find the support they need to overcome challenges. We hope it will serve as a beacon of hope and a reminder that even in the face of adversity, there is always the possibility for change and growth." The crowd responded with warm applause, and as the ribbon was cut, the community center was officially opened. The celebration was filled with joy, laughter, and a sense of shared purpose. Emily and Olivia took the time to interact with attendees, hear their stories, and celebrate the new opportunities that the center would provide. As the day came to a close, Emily and Olivia took a quiet moment together, reflecting on the journey that had brought them to this point. The community center was not just a physical space but a symbol of their growth, their mother's legacy, and the power of healing and reconciliation. "Mom would have been so proud," Olivia said softly, her eyes glistening with tears. Emily nodded in agreement. "Yes, she would have." This center is a reminder that even in our darkest moments, we can find light and make a difference in the world. The sisters embraced, their bond stronger than ever. They knew that their journey was far from over, but they felt confident in their ability to continue making a positive impact on the world. With a sense of fulfillment and hope, Emily and Olivia looked to the future, knowing that their mother's legacy lived on through their work and the lives they touched. Their story was a powerful reminder of the enduring strength of family, the importance of forgiveness, and the possibility for growth and renewal. As they walked away from the community center, hand in hand, they felt a deep sense of peace and satisfaction. Their journey had been one of challenges and triumphs, but it had ultimately led them to a place of understanding and purpose. They were ready to continue their path, united by their shared commitment to making a difference and honoring the memory of their beloved mother.